They told her to shrink until she almost disappeared. But what happened next is what separates those who stay broken from the ones who rise again. She lived in a small kitchen that never warmed. The kettle sang. Bills stacked like unsent letters. A laundry basket sighed under yesterday's clothes. By day she folded spreadsheets and smiles. By night she folded herself into whoever the world needed. She was the woman who held everyone else together, except herself. The phone lit with messages she did not answer. The silence after a call felt like an elbow pressing into her sternum. Someone at work praised the wrong name in the meeting. A friend canceled with a text that read, "Busy, let's reschedule," and the reschedule never came. Each small thing was a pebble. Together they became a landslide. She learned to pretend. She learned to laugh on cue. She learned to tuck her good days into the back pocket and pull them out often so no one would notice she was running out. Comparison sat in the dark like a house guest who never left. It whispered, "Not enough. Not loud enough. Not pretty enough. Not skilled enough." But what no one saw was how her fingers trembled when she paid a bill. What no one heard was the long breath she took before sending an email. And the part that mattered most, the whisper inside, grew louder the lonelier she became. And then, one morning, something small broke open. It started with one unpaid bill. One broken promise. One crack in her heart. She found an old photograph under a stack of mail. A younger version of herself with sunburned shoulders and a grin so wide it looked like a promise. The photo felt like a hand in the dark. She traced the edge. A single thought flared. Enough. Not a thunder. Not an epiphany that rewired the world. Just a small ember that would not be smothered. You know that sound when a match is struck? Quick. Short. A little shock. It's the same as the voice in her chest. You are not weak. You are waiting to rise. That morning she did not decide to change everything. She made one tiny choice. She paid a bill even though it left her pockets thin. She said no to a meeting that would have taken more than she had. She answered a text with an honesty she had been hiding. "I'm tired. I need a minute." It felt like a rebellion. It felt like a beginning. And then the hard work began. Truth won. She thought her scars were ugly. They were proof she had survived. She'd spent years hiding the lines around her wrists, the weathered edges of her laugh. She believed imperfection meant failure. But the truth, the quieter truth, was that those marks were the map of what she had already crossed. When she began to name them, they stopped being shame and became stories. Stories are tools. They teach you where not to step again. The next truth cut even deeper. Truth 2, she thought silence meant weakness. Silence meant listening to her own soul. Silence had been an accusation. People mistook her quiet for meekness, and she made herself small to fit that lie. But when she gave herself permission to be still, she heard the cadence of her own needs. She learned to wait for her own yes. That waiting felt like a long, dark room. And in that room she found a single light, her voice. Truth 3, she thought the world had forgotten her. The truth was she must never forget herself. She had been waiting for external proof, applause, a promotion, a love that showed up on demand, to tell her she mattered. Those things are nice, but fragile. What lasts is the ceremony you hold for yourself every morning when you make the bed, the small promises you keep when no one is watching. Those were the quiet, durable proofs. But even with truths, progress was not linear. She stumbled. She lay on the floor and cried. The mirror held back nothing. There were days her heartbeat felt like a distant drum. On those days the whisper returned with a different tone. Keep going. Not an order. A hand. She built rituals small enough to hold. Mornings with 1 page of a book. Nights with 2 minutes of breathing. A walk around the block when the world felt too wide. Each ritual stitched her in slow, human ways. They were not dramatic. They were ordinary. They were real. And the victories started tiny and certain. One meal cooked that tasted like color, one email sent without apology, one call returned to a friend with the voice unshaken. Each felt small and then enormous. Each was a rebuke to the shadow that had wanted her smaller. Here's the thing about courage. It looks a lot like ordinary habit. It is the repetition of small acts, over and over, that makes a life brave. She practiced saying what she needed. She practiced walking away from people who treated her like an annex to their lives. She practiced asking for help and being surprised when it came. Sometimes help came as a dish left on her doorstep. Sometimes as a neighbor's knock. Sometimes as a stranger applauding her in a meeting. The world is not only the enemy. It is messy, yes, but also full of gestures that can become scaffolding if you let them. And then the test came again. Because life always tests what you build. A new crisis arrived. Not bigger, maybe different. The same old panic. The same old voice. You can't. This time she paused. Her hands knew the script. Her breath remembered its place. She closed her eyes and recited the small truths. Scars are proof. Silence is listening. Never forget yourself. Her voice cracked. She stepped forward anyway. It was not a cathedral moment. It was a kitchen table moment. She spoke for herself in a meeting and her voice shook. She made a plan and failed at half of it. She tried again. She put on shoes and walked to the gym when she wanted to sleep. She sent a message that might have felt foolish. And the world did not crumble. What changed was this. She learned to measure success by the number of times she rose, not by the absence of pain. She learned that resilience is not a trophy, it's a muscle. You grow it by moving it. So here is the final thing, the one that changed her every day. She refused to lose herself in the currency of other people's attention. She kept the small vows, to feed herself, to speak, to rest, to try. When she kept those, the rest rearranged itself. And now, my friend, listen close. If you have ever felt invisible, exhausted, or ashamed of your scars, remember this. Your cracks are not your end. They are the beginning of your light. You do not need permission to become who you are. You only need the courage to keep choosing yourself again and again. You are not broken. You are becoming. If this landed inside you, like a match struck in a dark room, share it with someone who needs to hear, you are not broken. You are becoming. Like this video, subscribe for more real, life-changing stories, and pass this one along to the sister who thinks she must shrink to survive.